Welcome to the week 3 spreadsheet. This week what we'll be trying to do is do the same thing in a spreadsheet and in VBA. So we're kind of bringing together our spreadsheet skills and our VBA skills into one. Now the thing we'll be trying to do in both a spreadsheet and in VBA is calculate the variance-covariance matrix, which is a really important array of numbers that gives us an idea of how we should allocate our portfolio in order to get the maximum return for the minimum risk, which is known as the efficient frontier. So this array down the bottom is our goal in calculating all these numbers, and it will help us a lot in the next stage, which will be portfolio selection, picking how much money we want to put in each asset. Alright, so let's go ahead and start doing this in the spreadsheet. And the first step we have to do is calculate the mean return of each of these stocks. So we're given six different stocks from 1974 to 1983, and we're also given the S&P 500 from 74 to 83. So first we need to calculate the mean return of each stock, not of the average, just of each stock. So let's go ahead and do that. So to do that we go equals average, and then select all those cells for the different returns. And so the average of that AMR is 0.2032, and then we can just use that drag box to drag that across, and that'll calculate the return for each of them, average return. Now you can ignore the those errors that are coming up; they're not an issue. But so those are all our average return for each stock. Next step is to go ahead and calculate the excess return matrix, which is how much each return for each year is in excess of the average, so how much it's more or less than the average. So to do that we just need to do for each of the cells, so we go equals that return minus the mean return. So the formula for excess return is each return minus the mean return, so we do that, and we can put that in a bracket. Now if we hit enter now, if we just drag that down now, you'd find that would cause an error, because what it would do is it would try to calculate each return minus the next cell here. So let's just try it just to see what would happen. So if we drag it down, you see for the next cell, that causes an issue, because now it's trying to do that cell minus that cell when we want it to do that higher cell. Now we can prevent it from going to that next cell by doing what's called locking the cell reference. So to lock the cell reference, you just have to insert dollar signs before the row. So if we insert dollar signs there before the row number of 30, that will lock it, so it only refers to that cell there. So it only refers to that row. Alright, so we'll hit enter. Now if we drag it down, you can see that it will now do it for each row going down the annual returns, but it will only always subtract that mean return there, and it won't change rows because we've locked it, because we inserted a dollar sign before the row number of 30. And that's a very important skill in Excel called locking references. Okay. Now we can do that, drag that across for every stock, and you'll see that now it's successfully calculated each return minus each average as we dragged it across. And we can ignore all these errors. So that's the excess return matrix. The next step is to transpose this matrix. So to do that we need to use the transpose function. So if we highlight all of these cells, now to do this transposing we need to transpose all the cells at once. You could do them one by one, but it's much faster to do them all at the same time. So we grab all highlight all the cells where we want to put the transpose. Then we go equals transpose function, open bracket, and then select the array that we want to transpose, which is this here. Close the bracket. And now we want to divide this by the number of years, each value by the number of years. So we have to go divided by the number of years, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So divided by 10. Now the other key step is, you might think now I will just hit enter, but you can't actually just hit enter when you've got a whole array of cells. So here we've selected a whole array of cells. When you've got more than one cell that you're applying a formula to, you actually need to hit Control, Shift, hold down Control and Shift, and then hit enter all at the same time in order to apply something to a multiple number of cells. Okay, so we hold down Control and Shift, and now hit enter, and there you go. It's transposed all those cells there and divided by 10. Each cell is now moved and divided by 10. So that 0.5537 is now there and it's divided by 10. That cell there is now transposed to there and divided by 10. And that's how you transpose cells. Remember, you have to hit Control, Shift and Enter at the end in order to get it to transpose. Now we're ready to do our final calculation, which is multiplying this matrix by this transpose matrix. And we can do that again by selecting all the cells, going equals this array multiplied by this array, and we have to enter this as mmult. So mmult is matrix multiplication. That's the key function. So we go to, in order to do that multiplication, so you get mmult that, comma, that. Those are the two we want to, alright? And then once we've multiplied them, then we want to divide them by 10. And that's just to counter for that first array there. Sorry, I'll do that again. So we do that for all the cells, and then get Control Shift Enter, and there you go. There's our variance covariance matrix. It's multiplied that array by that array, and then divided by 10. And that's it.